What are you doing?
Eating a carrot.
What do you think?
Good.
What does it taste like?
Carrot.
The reason why we're sharing eating this carrot is because it actually started, you can tell, there. You can kind of tell the way the stem got a lot thicker, and then we sort of took it out, but it started to bolt and flower, and so I decided to pull it out. Didn't get very much of a root. This is a Nantus. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a Nantus carrot, and let's see.
I know
It is not like a typical,
Yeah.
it's not as good, it's not as sweet. Yeah, it's still edible, but it doesn't have as good of flavor. Georgia, what's your favorite vegetable?
Carrots.
So if you're a carrot lover, you'll probably still like carrots that are going to seed. But if you didn't like carrots, then you probably wouldn't like that kind of carrot. Look at this ladybug
I saw that one.
on the nasturtium. The kids said they saw it yesterday too when they were playing outside. That's a really good sign. What do you do now, Georgia?
These leaves are pretty good.
Oh, you like these? You want some for it?
Carrots.
What do you think? No? Not for you?
I only like carrots with ranch.
Ooh. That is strong. That wouldn't be my favorite. You like it, Georgia?
It'd be good for salad.
Good for salad?
Maybe just like a little bit of it. Face is coming out.
Look what we just found on the kale. Letting all this kale flower. And we just found, I don't know, like 6 or so green caterpillars. So we're taking care of that. Hey everyone, it's Kate from Wild Tales of. If you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. Here on YouTube and on my blog, wildtalesof.com, we share about family travel and outdoor adventure. So today we are outside in our backyard, and it has been a really, really long time. And so I thought this would be a good time to give you guys a garden update. And if you are interested, I especially love sharing garden updates here and there, and how we incorporate having the kids, particularly Georgia. We have 2 kids. Georgia is most interested in the garden, and so you can find her out there a lot, and she's always wanting to come along and help me. So we are going to give you a little tour to see how things are going. We did a little video kind of recently on our potatoes, and so we will show you that, and I'll link that one up here so you can see how we're growing potatoes. Way early on, and when it was barely spring, we also did a couple videos of just doing some seed starting and things like that. So we will give you an update on how things are going. Right now it is June 14th, 2021. So we will give you an update on that. And we live in Seattle, Washington, and our gardening zone is zone 8. Okay, so this area is our raised bed area. And that's just kind of what we started with originally. And we've got peas. These are how our peas are looking. And we have a lot of flowering going on. And what I've been trying to do, some tip that I learned, is that if you pick them early, so if you pick them early, so this one is obviously small, on the small side, and it could get a lot bigger and still be great. But what I was taught is that you kind of pick those early, especially as the fruit, if you will, is starting to set, then that will encourage even more growth. So here you go, Georgia. Let me know how that is. Good. And then here is a big patch of carrots. And I tried, and we planted these a long time ago, way back, I think it was March. And so they're doing well, although one was starting to go to seed, was starting to develop a flower, and so I picked that out. And we can show you, oh, here's another one. See, this one's doing the same thing. looks like kind of thickening up. Maybe we'll just keep an eye on it. I planted a few sunflowers here that are popping up, and then there's marigolds throughout and some cosmos. This is a radish that is also going to seed, and so I'm just leaving it in there kind of as an experiment and to show the kids. And then we have, here are some cucumbers that are growing up really nicely. It took a while for them to get established, and also they were getting kind of attacked early on, so I covered them, and now they're doing really well. But I do need to get some kind of trellis thing going on. I need to figure that out to kind of have it here. And then I went crazy with sowing beans, and they're doing well, and just starting to climb this trellis here, which is really exciting.
I didn't see that
before. Oh yeah. And then this is our broccoli. There's about 5 plants in here, and it came from one plant. We were really lucky to live just a few blocks literally from an amazing garden store, and when plants aren't doing so well, I don't know exactly what their rule is, but they will just put them off on the side for free. And so we picked up that broccoli plant just a couple months ago, and I divided it up, and so there's 5 plants in here, and this one in particular is finally, we were poking down here and we were able to see that it is growing a little head in there, so that's really, really exciting. What Georgia found. Good job. Caterpillar. I believe those are the caterpillars from the little white cabbage moths that fly around a lot, at least here in Seattle. Yeah, you can see, we think that that's their droppings. And then these were just some fun seed starting experiment kind of things. These are zinnias, and these are some marigolds that we grew from seed, and these are some nasturtiums that are really fun and happy. And then here are here's that kale that we were showing you with the caterpillars attacking, but I think we got all of them. We'll just have to keep an eye on it, and I'm just letting it go to seed to attract pollinators, and then also, you know, it just teaches the kids and the cycle, and it may even reseed itself, which will be really cool. And then
we got now right here.
And yeah, there's some smaller plants in there too, and then I threw in some bean plants, and those are growing. Here's just another little bed, or a little barrel that has lots of flowers, and some zinnias are popping up, which is really fun. This zinnia is doing really well, and then you can see I put some nasturtium in there, and this has the rosemary, and I don't remember what this is called. We have our tomato and potato section. This area gets a lot of sun. So we have the containers here, and these are the cherry tomatoes. These are our best ones. They are kind of the tallest and sturdiest, but no flowering yet.
They take really long.
They do. And then we also threw in some radishes, and as you can see, they're getting attacked by pests. I believe it is aphids. But I'm kind of thinking maybe if they're on the radishes, then they'll stay off the tomatoes. So I'm not sure if I necessarily want to take them out. So then these are the potatoes. We've got the soil up to here in this container, but obviously we can go a lot higher. So that's one job we need to do, is fill this up as high as it can go now that they're
and these are doing
well above. And then also this barrel of potatoes is doing really well and can be filled up.
It used to be like small.
It used to be nothing, right? When we planted, you can see. Well, you can see the before in that potato video. This cucumber Bergen planted, and then we had to plant again, or Bergen put the seed in, and we kind of wanted to follow it in its own container just to kind of be able to draw it and observe it, but it's not doing that well, which I'm not sure why. But we planted one seed, and then nothing happened. And so then I planted a couple more just to give it a better chance. And this is all we got. So what's this, Georgia?
Snapdragon.
Snapdragons. This barrel of flowers is doing really well too. I think it's a little crowded, but
These
it
smell
definitely
really good.
brings a
Look
lot
at
of,
the
these
smell.
smell really good, yes.
But do these smell?
Brings a lot of color.
Oh, these smell
and,
pretty good.
and pollinators to
These
the
smell
garden.
pretty good.
Petunias, you think?
Yeah.
And then this is also our tomato wall. So we have got tons of tomatoes
And lettuce.
because we had, and lettuce, because we had such good germination and I just couldn't bear to part with all the plants that we had going. Somehow this, I believe, is a
Sunflower.
some kind of squash. I don't think it's a sunflower. At first we did, and it, I don't know, it ended up in here. I don't know if it fell out of our pocket or our hand and just decided to sprout up, but we're letting it do its thing. And among the other lettuces that we have, this is called Tatsoi.
Yes, that Tatsoi.
We got it in a seed exchange. This is
Mom, can we pick some?
another variety of lettuce that we got for free from our garden store, and then this is Oakleaf lettuce. This one is called Marvel of the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Very tasty, mild lettuce. If you live in our area, I definitely recommend trying Tatsoi if you are interested in growing greens. We just have had really good luck with it. I never heard of it before this year, but it's an Asian green, and everyone really loves it. Georgia and Bergen both really like it. So there's not much action going on in the tomato department except for this kind of miniature tomato. Now, I don't know the variety, but it is a cherry type of tomato, like a small one, really small. And our neighbor of ours, what happened, Georgia? What were we doing though?
We were just walking around and then we just saw that
Her garden, right?
and then we talked to her for a long time,
Right.
like about like
Gardening.
10 minutes.
Yes.
And then she gave us these tomatoes and we said thanks. And then
And how did she get the tomato plants?
greenhouse.
In her greenhouse. That's right.
And she had a really big garden,
Yes.
big house,
Yes.
and she said,
Yeah, we've walked by her, before we met her. We'd walked by her garden a lot of times, and we'd always admired it and saw that she had a greenhouse and she has fruit trees and she's just done a beautiful job. And I'm sure her husband too is involved. But we were just talking to her, and she was so nice, and she gave each of the kids these little miniature tomato plants. So this one is Bergen's. And this one is Georgia's. And so it is already got some flowers, and then it's just started to open up over here too.
yeah.
Do you like those?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we have 2 more sections to share. First is the front.
But this is doing really good. This is doing really good.
We have planted a bunch of flowers right here in the front just to brighten up the front of the house and make it look prettier and grow up and kind of cover this area.
This is gonna be
Used to be just nothing, and then Georgia and I worked really hard and made this little brick section. Okay, what's this, Georgia?
This is a marigold.
A marigold. And did you buy it?
Yeah.
No, you didn't?
No, I got it for my birthday.
Did you buy this plant?
No.
How'd you get this plant here?
I got it for my birthday, and it come with seeds.
Seeds.
And then this thing.
Yeah, look at that.
And we painted it.
So cool.
Yeah.
Grew this marigold from a seed. It's doing really well. Yes, she's telling you about this container she painted that she got for her birthday or Christmas. Then these are some zinnias that are just doing so well. We're so proud of them. And a bunch of nasturtium. And then these are dahlias.
Yeah, you can see this.
And they're doing varying degrees of good, but they kind of are setting some blooms right there. There's there, and
They're
this
really
one.
green. Look at how green.
So we're really excited.
They've been
There was supposed to be one here, but it never came up. And then I just like threw a bunch of seeds, and now I can't even remember what that is. So
What do you
I
think?
can't remember if it's marigolds or a type of herb. I'm not even sure. So we'll just see as it gets bigger. But I do know, I think I planted these a little bit too close. I do know that you can dig up dahlias, and especially if you live in a colder climate. I think we're in where it's mild enough that you don't necessarily have to dig them up, but I think that we will at least dig some of them up and kind of spread out the tubers some more so they are not so crowded. Okay, and the last thing to share is our GreenStalk.
It's brown.
If you're not familiar with GreenStalk, it is a vertical growing system, and each of these little sections will grow different things. Mostly we started everything from seed, with the exception of, well, in the actual container. So this we bought at the store, the petunia, and then the tomatoes, we put 2 tomatoes in there, and we had already started them. We did start them from seed, but we didn't start them in here. They were in a different, we replanted them. But everything else, so I'll just give you a little tour. So this is some, and we planted all this on Mother's Day. This is Oakleaf Lettuce. It's a cherry tomato. These are some radishes. This is parsley. If anyone has any tips on lemon balm, I've tried 3 times to get it going and it's just not sprouting. This is dill.
Dill is a really...
This is thyme. What? Cilantro. You see spiders? Here are some chives. And then all around here we have different bush beans. So bush beans can actually grow really well in the GreenStalk. All different, 2 different kinds. Some are Blue Lake bush beans. This one is taking its time. Some are Blue Lake, and then some are, what's this one called again? Royal Burgundy. Then down here we have some broccoli that's trying. We'll see if it has enough time before it gets too hot. So that's broccoli. This is some round zucchini. This one didn't end up coming up, which is fine. More zucchini. There's the broccoli. This is another summer squash that didn't come up, but that one did. These are basils right here. And they're taking their time, but we're just happy that they sprouted at all, because that's really exciting to me to have basil. And then, I feel like this started, it looks like broccoli or kale even. Almost looks like a seed dropped in there, and it's even like coming out from a different direction. So we might plant something else in there. So thanks for sticking around with that tour, and we hope that you enjoyed it. And please let us know if you have any questions about anything that we're growing in the garden, and if you have any insights on some of the things that you saw, because I am not by any means an expert and just love hearing more advice from other people who know what they're doing. So I also wanted to share a little bit more about the GreenStalk, and just speaking of gardening with kids and why it's been so great to have. Now, it was a Mother's Day present for me, but it's also been just so beneficial for gardening with the kids as well. And I just wanted to share what we're loving about it. Obviously, it's just a really compact, easy to kind of navigate place to garden. So it's that tiered design. So each of the 5 tiers have 6 separate containers. So that allows for you to grow 30 different plants, or even more. If they're smaller, then you can grow, obviously more than 1 plant in each of the little compartments. And then that way, speaking of kids, well, not only is it easy to navigate as a gardener, but as a kid, the kids are able to study and kind of hone in on each of those little compartments and really get to see exactly how the thyme starts to grow, or how the chives develop, or how, the nasturtiums start out. Now they're only just showing the greenery, but then we'll be able to observe as the flowers form. Because it's kind of this micro situation, it just feels like it's easier for the kids to be able to study and really get an idea of what's going on with the plant life. And then speaking of all those sections, so there's 30 different sections, it just allows you to do, feels like you can do a lot more experimenting. It's a little bit of a risk to try to grow squash because it's going to need some support soon, but that's going to allow us to, you know, figure out exactly what it's going to need and what's going to work. And then obviously trying to grow tomatoes in there is going to be an experiment as well. It's not kind of the typical like herbs or bush beans that I feel like obviously would do really well in those containers. So again, it just gives the kids a chance to experiment and just kind of play around with growing different things. Overall, if you were to kind of let a child be in charge of it more, now I'm kind of in charge of it, of course, but if you were to let them take ownership, it's just sort of this compact system that they can manage and they can take care of themselves easily without being overwhelmed, because it's in containers and they're all kind of compact and you know exactly what's supposed to be growing in each section. It's a lot easier to identify if there are weeds that get in there, which is really unlikely. I don't even think we've had anything growing in there that wasn't supposed to be growing in there, just because of the way it's designed. There's minimal weeding, you know, they know exactly what's supposed to be growing in there. And also, although I wanted to touch on the watering, is really straightforward because I didn't get a chance to actually video when we were filling up the GreenStalk. I just thought I would share. So this is what it would look like when you were planting. So you fill that whole section with dirt, and then you can either do your own like starts that you already have established or go ahead and seed it. And then you're just stacking them up. And then this is, so ours, this is a 3-tier, but ours is a 5-tier, but you just put the water right in here at the top, and then there's like holes and things and ways that the water gets distributed down. And then as soon as that water is coming out the bottom, you know that you've watered the whole system enough. So anyway, what I was saying with the kids is that when they do need to have that job of watering, it's very straightforward, that they're just watering in the reservoir, and it's kind of fun to water with the hose, and then you're waiting until the water comes out, and then they know that they've added enough water. So I just wanted to touch on the GreenStalk a little bit more because we are just so thrilled with the results and just the space. It's so perfect for growing when you have a small area, as long as you use good soil and you have enough sunlight, and obviously you're watering your plants, then it is going to be a great system. Like I said before, make sure you share if you have any tips for us, or if you have any questions for us about our garden or gardening with kids. We would love to help to answer those questions. And if you're curious about GreenStalk, I'll go ahead and leave a link below to their site. And we hope you're staying happy and healthy, and we hope you are getting out and having some brave wild adventures.
And we'll see you next time. Here's some Tatsoi.
Thanks.
Eat it.